Welcome to the Daily Chronological Bible. My name's Hunter, and we are reading through the Bible in chronological order as a single story. And that story is all about Jesus. It is a revelation of Him, and He has revealed to us the heart of the Father. Today, we finish up Ruth chapter 4, verses 13 through 22. Then we go to 1 Chronicles chapter 2, verses 9 through 55, and 1 Chronicles chapter 4, verses 1 through 23. We'll finish in 1 Samuel chapter 1, verses 1 through 8. This is the word of the Lord. Ruth chapter 4, starting in verse 13. So Boaz took Ruth into his home, and she became his wife. When he slept with her, the Lord enabled her to become pregnant, and she gave birth to a son. Then the women of the town said to Naomi, "Praise the Lord, who has now provided a redeemer for your family. May this child be famous in Israel. May he restore your youth and care for you in your old age. For he is the son of your daughter-in-law, who loves you and has been better to you than 7 sons." Naomi took the baby and cuddled him in her breast, and she cared for him as if he were her own. The neighbor woman said, "Now at last Naomi has a son again." And they named him Obed. He became the father of Jesse and the grandfather of David. This is the genealogical record of their ancestor Perez. Perez was the father of Hezron. Hezron was the father of Ram. Ram was the father of Amminadab. Amminadab was the father of Nahashon. Nahashon was the father of Salmon. Salmon was the father of Boaz. Boaz was the father of Obed. Obed was the father of Jesse. Jesse was the father of David. 1 Chronicles 2, 9 through 55. The sons of Hezron were Jerahmeel, Ram, and Caleb. Ram was the father of Amminadab. Amminadab was the father of Nahashon, a leader of Judah. Nahashon was the father of Salmon. Salmon was the father of Boaz. Boaz was the father of Obed. Obed was the father of Jesse. Jesse's first son was Eliab. His second son was Abinadab. His third, Shemaiah. His fourth was Nethanel. His fifth was Radiah. His sixth was Osam. And his seventh was David. Their sisters were named Zeruiah and Abigail. Zeruiah had 3 sons named Abishai, Joab, and Asahel. Abigail married a man named Jether, an Ishmaelite, and they had a son named Amasa. Hezron's son Caleb had sons with his wife Azubah, and from Jerioth her sons were named Jesher, Shobab, and Arden. After Azubah died, Caleb married Ephrathah, and they had a son named Hur. Hur was the father of Uri. Uri was the father of Bazalel. When Hezron was 60 years old, he married Gilead's sister, the daughter of Machir. They had a son named Segub. Segub was the father of Jair, who ruled 23 towns in the land of Gilead. But Gesher and Aram captured the towns of Jair and also took Kanath and its 60 surrounding villages. All these were descendants of Machir, the father of Gilead. Soon after Hezron died in the town of Caleb Ephrathah, his wife Abijah gave birth to a son named Ashur, the father of Tekoa. The sons of Jerahmeel, the oldest son of Hezron, were Ram, the firstborn, Banua, Oren, Ozem, and Ahijah. Jerahmeel had a second wife named Atarah. She was the mother of Onam. The sons of Ram, the oldest son of Jerahmeel, were Maaz, Jamin, and Eker. The sons of Onam were Shemaiah and Jedah. The sons of Shemaiah were Nadab and Abishur. The sons of Abishur and his wife Abihail were Ahaban and Molid. The sons of Nadab were Seled and Apem. Seled died without children, but Apem had a son named Ishi. The son of Ishi was Shishan. Shishan had a descendant named Ahalai. The sons of Jedah, Shemaiah's brother, were Jether and Jonathan. Jether died without children, but Jonathan had 2 sons named Peleth and Zazah. These were all descendants of Jerahmeel. Shishan had no sons, though he did have daughters. He also had an Egyptian servant named Jerah. Sheshan gave one of his daughters to be the wife of Jerah, and they had a son named Attai. Attai was the father of Nathan. Nathan was the father of Zadab. Zadab was the father of Aphalal. Aphalal was the father of Obed. Obed was the father of Jehu. Jehu was the father of Azariah. Azariah was the father of Helez. Helez was the father of Elsiah. Elsiah was the father of Sismai. Sismai was the father of Shallum. Shallum was the father of Jechamiah. Jechamiah was the father of Elishama. The descendants of Caleb, the brother of Jerahmeel, included Misha, the firstborn, who became the father of Ziph. Caleb's descendants also included the sons of Mirshah, the father of Hebron. The sons of Hebron were Korah, Tapua, Rakem, and Shema. Shema was the father of Raham. Raham was the father of Jorkim. Rekim was the father of Shemaiah. The son of Shemaiah was Maon. Maon was the father of Bet-Zuar. Caleb's concubine Ephah gave birth to Haran, Mozah, and Gazez. Haran was the father of Gazez. The sons of Jehadai were Regem, Jotan, Geshan, Pelet, Ephah, and Shapha. Another of Caleb's concubines, Makkah, gave birth to Sheber and Tirhana. She gave birth to Shapha, the father of Matnan, and Sheva, the father of Machbanah and Gibeah. Caleb also had a daughter named Aksah. These were all descendants of Caleb. The sons of Hur, the oldest of Caleb's wife, Ephrathah, were Shobal, the founder of Kiriath Jearim, Salma, the father of Bethlehem, and Heraph, the father of Bet-Geder. The descendants of Shobal, the founder of Kiriath Jearim, were Horea, half of the Mithonites, and the families of Kiriath Jearim, the Ithrahites, Puthites, Shumathites, and Mishterites, from whom came the people of Zorah and Eshtaol. The descendants of Salma were the people of Bethlehem, the Natophites, Atroth Beth Joab, and the other half of the Manathites, the Zorites, and the families of scribes living in Jabez, the Tirthites. Shimeathites and Sukkothites, all these were Kenites, who descended from Hamath, the father of the family of Rechab. 1 Chronicles 4, verses 1 through 23. The descendants of Judah were Perez, Hezron, Carmi, Hur, and Shobal. Shobal's son, Raiah, was the father of Jahath. Jahath was the father of Ahimoi and Lahad. These were the families of the Zorathites. The descendants of Atam were Jezreel, Ishma, Idbash, their sister Hezloponi, Penuel, the father of Gedor, and Ezer, the father of Heshua. These were the descendants of Hur, the firstborn of Ephrathah, the ancestor of Bethlehem. Ashur, the father of Tekoa, had two wives named Helah and Nurah. Nurah gave birth to Azam, Hefer, Temani, and Heshratari. Helah gave birth to Zereth, Izhar, Ethan, and Koz, who became the ancestor of Anub, Zabobah, and all the families of Aharahel, son of Huram. There was a man named Jabez who was more honorable than any of his brothers. His mother named him Jabez because his birth had been so painful. He was the one who prayed to the God of Israel, "Oh, that you would bless me and expand my territory. Please be with me in all that I do and keep me from all trouble and pain." And God granted him his request. Caleb, the brother of Shahuah, was the father of Mahir. Mahir was the father of Eshton. Eshton was the father of Bethratha, Paseah, and Timnah. Timnah was the father of Irnahash. They were the descendants of Rakah. The sons of Kenaz were Othniel and Sariah. Othniel's sons were Hathath and Meonothai. Meonothai was the father of Ophrah. Sariah was the father of Joab, the founder of the Valley of Craftsmen, so called because they were craftsmen. The sons of Caleb, son of Jephunneh, were Eru, Elah, and Naam. The sons of Elah were Kenaz. The sons of Jahalel were Ziph, Zephah, Tirah, and Asarel. The sons of Azrah were Jether, Mered, Efer, and Jalon. One of Mered's wives became the mother of Miriam, Shemaiah, and Ishbah, the father of Eshtemoa. He married a woman from Judah who became the mother of Jared, the father of Gedor, Heber, the father of Soko, and Jokthahil, the father of Zanoah. Mered also married Bethiah, a daughter of Pharaoh, and she bore him children. Hodiah's wife was sister of Naham. One of her sons was the father of Kaliah, the Gamarite, and another was the father of Eshtemoa, the Maacathite. The sons of Shimon were Amnon, Rinah, Ben-Hanan, and Tilon. The descendants of Ishi were Zoheth and Ben-Zoheth. Shelah was one of Judah's sons. The descendants of Shelah were the father of Lekah, Ladah, the father of Mershah, the families of linen workers at Bet Ashbiah, Jokim, the men of Kozibah, and Joash, and Seraph, who ruled over Moab, and Jeshobeah-lehem. These names all come from ancient records. They were the pottery makers who lived in Nataim and Gedera. They lived there and worked for the king. 1 Samuel 1. There was a man named Elkanah who lived in Ramah in the region of Zuph in the hill country of Ephraim. He was the son of Jeroboam, son of Elihu, son of Tohu, son of Zuph of Ephraim. Elkanah had 2 wives, Hannah and Peninnah. Peninnah had children, but Hannah did not. Each year Elkanah would travel to Shiloh to worship and sacrifice to the Lord of Heaven's armies at the tabernacle. The priests of the Lord at that time were the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas. On the days Elkanah presented his sacrifice, he would give portions of the meat to Peninnah and each of her children, and though he loved Hannah, he would give her only one choice portion because the Lord had given her no children. So Peninnah would taunt Hannah and make fun of her because the Lord had kept her from having children. Year after year it was the same. Peninnah would taunt Hannah as they went to the tabernacle. Each time Hannah would be reduced to tears and would not even eat. "Why are you crying, Hannah?" Elkanah would ask. "Why aren't you eating? Why be downhearted just because you have no children? You have me. Isn't that better than having 10 sons?" Thank you for joining us at the Daily Chronological Bible. You can find out more about our other podcasts at dailyradiobible.com, where people from all around the world come to join us in this journey through the Scriptures, where we allow the Scriptures to point us to the God who is love, the God revealed to us fully in Jesus. Again, that website is dailyradiobible.com. Subscribe or follow wherever you get your podcast. Until tomorrow, let's go forward in God's joy. Let's let His joy be our strength. And let us always remember this, that you are loved. No doubt about it. Alrighty, I'll talk to you again tomorrow.